Last April, we put together one of our favorite projects ever. It was called Made in Milwaukee, for the city of Milwaukee, and it came out on 414 Day, which, if you know anything about Milwaukee, is the area code. The goal of this project was to highlight creators, athletes, and influencers in our city and come together as filmmakers to do so. And it was an amazing experience that I'll never forget. The idea sparked from using a studio and having a bunch of influencers come and doing a montage type video. One thing I wanted to do was work with this filmmaker in Milwaukee named Cody LaPlante. And what I did was reach out to him. I shared him the pitch. It was all jazzy, and he had some cool feedback. He was like, why don't we not only highlight these people, but highlight our city and get out of a studio and show these people in their element? And I love that idea. So we retooled the pitch, put it together, then we started to assemble the team. So once we got done with pre-production, we finally nailed down who the talent was going to be. We ended up with 4 days of production in 1 week. And in each one of those days would either be multiple locations or up to 7 people in a studio switching sets. And the most beautiful thing about this whole project was everyone involved was a friend or close to us in some regard and gave their time to be a part of this project. And that's from crew to talent and everything. And I think that's what really made this such a special project. So day one, we were at the UCC boxing facility with Violet, the Warrior Princess, who is a boxer fighting for Team USA. We had an amazing group of cast and crew that came out, and we're just very thankful because it was a long day, only 1 day shooting in this place, but everyone took their time to help us get loaded in, get prepped, and ultimately make this scene happen. This was one of those scenes that had a lot of kinetic energy, a lot of fun and movement, and really helped us get going with the piece. As you can see, when the beat drops in Made in Milwaukee, it's the boxing that really inspires that movement. This day was a great start to the next 3 days that we were gonna end up shooting. During this project, me and Cody LaPlante both ended up directing, and we kind of decided that depending on who the talent was, if we knew them personally, we would direct the talent while the other one would kind of direct crew and camera and make sure things were right there. Since I knew the boxer, I was in the ring kind of giving her motions, and then he was working with camera team to make sure that everything was going to plan there. This really worked out well because we had a rapport with our talent and also with the crew, so we were able to kind of pivot and make things happen. So day 2 was our studio day. So my vision wasn't completely lost within this, but we were able to really make it look like we were not in the same place. We had 7 different talent, scenes, and locations that we built in a studio in the same day. Yes, 7. So it started out in the morning. We had our podcast group come in with the Crash Dummies podcast. They're blowing up all over the country right now. And that scene was very cool because it was our first time getting everybody together, getting us rolling. And we had the 2 of them on set interacting like they normally do. So we built their podcast set right there. The next thing we went into was our movie magic monster scene. We had our friend Sean. He was in a monster mask and getting makeup, and we wanted to make it feel like we were on set calling cut and we're cutting from a movie scene, just to give that kind of feeling like we're in the movies, basically. The next scene we went into, a great collaborator and friend here in the city, Philly Flyboy, who does music videos with some of the top hip hop artists all over the world. And he was able to come in and we kind of mimicked like a music video scene with our buddy Drace, who was the rapper for it. This was cool because it was just kind of connecting the dots, at least for me. Meeting these people and getting to actually shoot them from like a third person view was really cool and kind of added to that creative aspect, and I wanted to highlight Philly in this way. The next person we had was musician Khalil, and he is super dope. Luckily, the studio connected to it, there's a music studio, so we were able to move over there and get this shot done. The thing about this though, we kind of ended up running a little behind. So what we did was we had a second unit doing his scene over there, and Cody took that over and got all the shots with Khalil while we had Philly in the other studio space. So it was really kind of cool to see how we were able to split, conquer, and divide and make it happen, because right after that we had our next scene. After they got done, we had Cree Miles. She came in and she's an author, and we had this really cool scene where we had pages falling from the sky. She was in like a library kind of reading nook space that we created, and this turned out really, really dope. One of the things I want to note here, this was our first time working with an art director, and Emily did so great setting up all these different scenes and helping to kind of bring life and breathe life into these sets. Also, when we had one location, we had to have a variety of looks to make it feel like we were moving through these different worlds and spaces. And Emily did a great job making that happen. Next, we had J-Matt, who's a TikTok influencer in the city. If you're from Milwaukee, you've probably seen plenty of TikToks of him telling you about the best places to eat. So he came in and we had this cool set where we had a TikTok frame that he was in, and we pushed in and we had him delivering some lines. His scene was really important in some of the marketing for this piece, along with being in the piece as well. And then finally, after all of this long day, we probably had the biggest set that we ended up doing at the end of the day with DJ Mr. New York, where we created a club scene in the studio. And we started setting this up. Our DP Spencer had some great ideas for creating some LED walls and stage and like all this really cool stuff, and we were like, dang, we don't have any crowd. So this is where all of us kind of came together as a crew, and we started putting the crew in to be part of the crowd. And if you didn't know anything about it, you wouldn't know that we weren't in the club with all these extras, but it was really just our crew coming together and making something really dope. So once we were done with Mr. New York, we actually did what ended up being the crew shot, which was at the very end of the piece. This was really important to me and to us, and something that had to happen, because I wanted to highlight the crew and all the amazing people that make these cool things, make these cool videos here in our city. Because a lot of times, you know, they're just on the credits and people kind of move on, but I wanted the faces to be there and be seen. So we shot this shot at the end of the day of all of us on the crew, kind of coming together for a group picture in a way, but it was a group video, and I think it was something that really added some character to this piece that was different. Day 3, we had 4 more scenes to cover, but this time we were not in the studio. We had to travel in between all these locations. Location 1 was our personal trainer. So we went to this training facility, knocked out all of his shots, high energy, high emotion. I even had to push a sled, which was ruining my whole day. Anyways, this was a lot of kinetic energy. Also, part of that beginning part that really kind of got us rolling for the shoot. Location number 2 was our Under the Bridge location with Chris G dancing. This was really awesome. It was raining, peeking through underneath the bridge. He had a lot of great energy. It was fun, it was cold, we knocked it out. Our third spot for the day was with Lolly Ceramics. We went to her studio and got to capture her creating some pottery, putting things together. That was really cool. Her location was kind of a smoother vibe that helped slow us down for a beat and get us prepared for the ending of the project. After that, we headed off to Radio 88.9 and got our voiceover knocked out with Tariq, and he was the one that kind of had this voiceover that ran all the way through the whole video and the whole piece. This was cool because we were able to get in to see right where they actually do the radio in the morning and get some shots with him, and also have that voiceover grace into the day. Day 4, this was our last day. Day 4, we had 3 locations to knock out. The first location was with pro soccer player Ian Bennett. We had to start in the dark at like 5 a.m., get to the field, get set up, and knock his shots out. We had some really cool dolly shots and power zooms that we did with him just to give that epic kind of look, and we had the sunrise coming up. It was chef's kiss. It looked so great. After that, we headed back downtown. Part of the crew grabbed some coffee while the other part of the crew, we knocked some shots out with Martin Moore, an influencer, crossing the 3rd Ward with our new Hop bus coming by that really kind of showed the city and what it's like to be out in the city in the morning. And then our last location for the day was with Ike Winter, who is at this point, world-renowned woodworking artist. And we got to go to his studio, see him working, and he revealed this Hone Bridge, which is the bridge here in Milwaukee, piece of artwork that he created. It was the first time anybody had seen it. He ended up putting it up for display on some places afterwards. It was really cool, kind of way to like see a new piece of art also with this piece. So once all of that was done, it was time to finally take it home, edit, and start getting it together. So me and Cody, we kind of split tasks at this point. We cut the edit together. Then he went and did sound design. I went and did color. And we came back together, meshed it all together, and it released on 4/14 day, April the 14th of 2024. When this project was all said and done, biggest takeaway for me as a director is just how amazing our community of Milwaukee is, the filmmaking community, the influencer community, the athletes, and the fact that everybody came together and put their resources together to make something amazing that kind of puts a timestamp on this moment in time in 2024 and just kind of where all of us are in our journeys was very beautiful. And to see that everything that was happening is happening here in Milwaukee, I think added another layer to that. It was a super impactful project for me personally, and I know a lot of people that were involved. It's just a moment we'll never forget. So with this project, Media Boat Productions produced this project. This is one of those things where you don't know what you know until you do it. We did something that was much bigger and larger than we probably expected. We pushed ourselves to the limits with this. It was uncomfortable. A lot of process of it was uncomfortable. We had great people there to kind of lift us up, but that's where you grow. You grow when you do something that is tough, something that's hard, something that's bigger than you probably imagined. And I think throughout this project and the people we were around pushed all of us to do bigger than we probably had initially in our head. And I think that's one of my big takeaways from this is, you know, always push the art forward in some capacity. This project really opened our mind to saying, you know what, this is a cool idea, but how do we expand it? How do we make something even better, even greater? And it's been something that we've taken with all of our projects that we've done with clients and some things that we're working on currently and tried to up the ante again. And I think as a filmmaker, if you can find ways to do something bigger and better than the last thing you did, you're always gonna grow in this field. And that's what we did with this. I'm very proud of this. So doing something uncomfortable like a project with such a large scope and making it happen, a lot of good things happened. We were on the news. This project's been nominated. And these are all things that like we didn't even think were possible, but just going and doing it and trying to push the envelope opened up a whole new world to us as a business and our community. We met a lot of new people and we learned a lot of new things through this process of making Made in Milwaukee. So get out there and make your project. If you haven't seen Made in Milwaukee, please go watch it on our channel. It's there live now. And if you want to see more behind the scenes content on some of our projects, make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel because we're going to continue to push out stuff like this. And hopefully it's something that you guys can learn and take to help and apply to your own projects. So until next time, we will see you later. Peace.